What's up, everyone? Biggest question I see asked in like every video I make is, what if you can't find a cash buyer? Do you have to buy the house? What are you gonna do? People freak out over it, and a lot of it's fear. I've answered this question probably thousands of times in comments and other videos. So my contract that I use has an inspection clause that states I have until the close of escrow for an inspection period. So if I want to cancel, terminate my contract for any reason, I can up until the day of closing. So do I do that to sellers? No, it's not ethical. And people think, oh, wholesalers are not ethical. They're going to, they cancel contracts last minute and screw the seller who had plans to move and whatnot. So here's what I do. If I get a house on a contract, within the first 3 to 7 days, mine, it's usually the first 3 days. I've already had buyers. I've sent it out to buyers. I've posted it. Local Facebook investor groups, Craigslist. I've posted it everywhere. I've got feedback from buyers. They've either went and looked at it, or I've sent them pictures. They've done their own due diligence. They got their own comps. They went and looked at it. And if they either tell me, no, not interested, or I don't ever hear back from them. So I'll reach back out and be like, hey, what'd you think of the place? Then they'll tell me, well, the repairs are way worse than you thought. And for me, you know how that happens is I do all virtual wholesaling. So obviously I'm going off of what the homeowner tells me is what's wrong with the place. And I'm going off pictures they send me or videos. That's all I have to go off of. I don't ever send no one out to look at the place. I literally go off what the seller tells me. So they come back and tell me whether repairs are worse. And a lot of the buyers will actually send me pictures or do videos and be like, this is what's wrong with it. It's why I don't want it, because, you never told me about it. Or I'll ask them, like, hey, do you mind sending me pictures or a video if you have it of it, or will you go back and take some, because I'm not physically there with the property. And they will most of the time, because if they're interested in the property, they'll go back and be like, yeah, this is what I see if you can do better on numbers. I'm interested. And usually they'll throw their price out of what, they're interested in, what price. So once they do that, if that's the reason, is because of the repairs, which in my case, 99% of the time it's repairs. I was lied to by sellers. If I have to ever renegotiate a contract, I go back to the seller. I'm like, hey, the repairs are way worse than what you told me. Like, you sent me pictures, but there was a lot of stuff that you didn't send me pictures of. I was like, my buddy went out and looked at it, sent me videos, and I can even forward those to the seller, because sometimes the seller's not aware because they haven't been by the property. They've got old pictures or whatnot. So I'll send them what I have, and I'm like, for this to work for me, I need to be at this price. I was like, and if you can't do that, I totally get it. We can just terminate the contract in the inspection period. We both go our ways. No harm, no foul. I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time. Usually my negotiations, usually $5,000. That's usually the number I'm off on, because I usually get them at such a good discount that even if the repairs are worse, it's never more than $5,000 I need to change up, and that $5,000 is what I'm going to actually make. So from my experience on probably 9 of 10 of my negotiation deals I've ever done, 9 out of 10 typically, the buyer comes back, well, I need to be at this price. That's usually the price. I have it under contract or close to it. So I just renegotiate $5,000 so I can make $5,000. That's just from experience. So they usually, when I tell the seller, it's A or B, we can renegotiate for this price, and it's usually $5-10,000 less, or we'll just terminate. I don't give them any, I'm not haggling in between prices. I was like, at the end of the day, it's a numbers game. I got to make money just as well. So they understand. Most of the time, I think I've had 2 ever just say no. They didn't want to budge at all. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'll send you an email terminating the contract. I'm like, okay, thanks for your time, and we go our ways. One of those 2 has actually emailed back months later and said, hey, you still interested? I can do that price now. But it's that simple. And if they want to renegotiate, you just send them an addendum, and you just say, hey, new purchase price is such and such, and you send that to the title company, and they put it with the purchase agreement, the original purchase agreement, to show that there's a new price change. So that's all you got to do. If you can't find a buyer and you got to renegotiate, that's how you renegotiate. The other thing is terminating the contract. So terminating the contract's not a big deal. I try not to do it. Like I said, Don't be the guy who spends 28, 29 days on a deal, not communicating with the seller at all, then just say, hey, I'm going to terminate the deal. I mean, they was already planning on getting paid in a couple of days, so don't be that D-bag that's going to screw up their plans and money they've probably already spent in their head because they was expecting to be paid. So 7 days is the absolute latest I would ever wait to either renegotiate or terminate a contract. 7 days from the date they sign it. If it's after 7 days, you haven't found a buyer or whatnot, you need just to reach out to them and just terminate. Don't drag it out no more than what you have to. Communication's key, and as a wholesaler, you got to communicate with your buyers. If you're not getting no hit backs, you got to ask buyers, what'd you think? Why didn't you like it? What numbers you need to be at? You have to physically ask these people so you know what's going on with your deal. It's just not sitting there and not getting no traction. So it's very simple. I mean, people just, they overcomplicate it. If you can't find a buyer, you probably don't have a deal. Your numbers are off, your repairs are off, your comps are off. Most of the time it's the repairs. Comps, you always gotta go with the lowest 3 comps in the area. You never take the highest because your cash buyer is looking at worst case scenario. Hey, if I buy this place, fix it up, and list the worst case scenario, I'm gonna make $200,000. Not best case scenario. The high comp says I'm gonna make $275, but the 3 low comp says I'm gonna make at least $200. So that's kind of, or get $200 for it per se. So that's where you gotta go. You gotta go with the lowest comps, worst case scenario as a cash buyer, because that's exactly what they're looking at. What I recommend, if you don't know how to do repairs, you don't know how to do comps, I mean, obviously I have videos on YouTube explaining that, but Paul's Deal Analyzer, it's called paulsdealanalyzer.com, it has repairs and comps for you built in. You just kind of pick which one you think it is, and I mean, I've broke it down. I helped design that software through Housefolio, so it helps a lot of wholesalers. You get a 3-day trial when you try it, but even if you continue it, they got like 3 or 4 packages. It's affordable. It's just, it's time consuming to do all that on your own, and you're still worrying, did I get my numbers right? Did I get my repairs right? So that's why I helped them design that software. They reached out, they need someone that did a lot of wholesale deals, so but that's as simple as it is. If you can't find a buyer, you renegotiate with seller per your inspection period. You can terminate the contract. It's one or the two. It's not like you have to buy the house like everybody makes it out to be. Contracts have exit clauses that protect you. So don't ever sign a contract that don't have an exit clause that's not your own, because that's when you get stuck and you may have to buy a house, or you could be sued because you signed someone else's contract instead of your own, and you have no way of getting out of it. So you have to make sure you have an exit strategy. Like I said, don't ever drag it out past 7 days. It's just not ethical, and wholesalers already get a bad rap for being unethical, taking advantage of 90-year-old grandma. So hope this video helps. Hope it helps ease your mind, and I'll do more videos here to come. Like, subscribe, share, and all that good stuff. Thanks.